In these uncertain economic times, it's easy to be worried about protecting your wealth, your hard-earned savings, and your family's financial future. Plunging interest rates, the devaluating dollar, and political unrest constantly threaten what you have worked hard to earn and all that you own. That's why now it's more important than ever to protect your assets and have the money you need to make your dreams come true. Welcome to the Global Wealth Fortress Report with successful global entrepreneur and wealth preservation expert Joel Nagel. Joel's helped thousands of people just like you protect what you have so that you can make even more and make your every dream come true. So, sit back and enjoy Joel Nagel's offshore expert advice on how you can live the good life at a great price, where the sun never sets on your financial fortress.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Global Wealth Fortress Report. I'm attorney Joel Nagel. I'm broadcasting today from the Air France Business Lounge, getting ready to board our flight to the Azores Islands, which is an island chain in the Atlantic. It's part of Portugal, and that's our intended route back to Europe. As many of you know, Europe is essentially closed to Americans these days, as America is closed to Europeans. So the average tourist or business person that wants to go back and forth, it's really not possible to do. Now, one of the reasons that I bring this up is because we've been talking about this issue for many, many, many years. The U.S. passport has always been one of the best passports in the world. People would say, why do I need a second passport? Why do I need a second residency? I could travel anywhere I want with the U.S. passport. And that's been essentially true. Up until a few months ago, you could travel to 186 countries in the world, visa-free with the U.S. passport. But as most of you know, the world has changed in the last few months. And as of the day before yesterday, the U.S. passport only gave you access to about 23 countries around the world. The rest of the countries are essentially closed to Americans because of the whole coronavirus thing. So you can see here, I'll look around a little bit. I'm at the lounge. There's really nobody in the lounge, a couple of staff people, and again, no business people, no tourists. We're getting ready to board our plane. Looking forward to a short 3-hour flight back to the Azores. We're going to have a few days of a holiday there, maybe see some whales and enjoy ourselves as we then continue on to the mainland, Portugal, and then eventually back to Vienna, Austria. So tomorrow I'm going to be coming back again and talking specifically about the Golden Visa, how you can get the Golden Visa, what's involved, the investment amount, really how easy it is. And if you're looking for a plan B, where you'd like to have another residency card or ability to travel during the current lockdown, please reach out to my office. We'll be happy to help you get the documentation you need. So like me, you can join me in a lounge like this or on an airplane, and you can travel where you want. I mean, it's really all about choice, and it's all about freedom, and that's why I think it's so important. So on that note, I'm here with my 2 young daughters, but they're not old enough to drink, but they just served me a very nice glass of French champagne. So until the next time, cheers.
So I thought I'd just check in with you one more time tonight on my transatlantic flight. I am somewhere over the Atlantic, between Boston, Massachusetts, where we took off maybe a little over an hour ago, and I have another 2.5 hours to go till I arrive in the Azores. Now it's about 11 o'clock Eastern time, and it's 4 a.m. Portugal time. The Azores are on the same time zone as mainland Portugal, even though they're an hour and a half, 2-hour flight west of the mainland. It's actually, getting on the plane today reminded me a little bit of flying right after 9/11. I took my family on one of the very first flights back after September 11th. We were on one of the very first plane rides, and I landed in Newark. And when I landed, there was still smoldering smoke coming up from the buildings. So it was really an awesome and overwhelming experience. And I haven't really experienced anything like that on an airplane until now. I mean, obviously we don't have the same kind of tragedy that we had back then, but it seems and feels a little bit like a tragedy, just the way everything is shut down. I mean, the airports are basically ghost towns. I was the only person in the business class of my flight, and a very nice flight attendant came and asked if I would like her to move my two daughters from the economy section of the plane up here to the business class with me. And I said, yeah, sure. And she did that. And that's the kind of really nice things that can happen in a situation like this. As I mentioned, I think there's 16 business class seats. I was the only one. Now it's myself and my two daughters. I just looked in the back of the plane. There's about 200 seats, and I counted roughly 25 people on the plane. It looks like mostly Portuguese, probably Portuguese folks who work and live in the United States going home. I believe I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty certain that we're some of the only Americans that are on this flight. And I think it's really important to think about this. You know, even though we live in a great country in the United States, it's the old adage, the old Boy Scout adage, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And I feel like we've done that over the past few years. We have multiple passports, we have multiple residencies, including Portuguese. So having a Portuguese residency, when we checked in at the counter, they asked us a whole series of things. I had to show a negative COVID test, and in addition, I had to show one of the ways that we qualified to fly to Portugal, one of which was simply having a Portuguese residence card. I pulled the residence cards out, the lady smiled at me, wrote down the information, and here we are. So it's never too early or too late to prepare for a situation like this. I would encourage all of you who are watching this video to think about what your plan B is. There are opportunities all over the world for, in some cases, jurisdictions like Panama, you can get a investor visa for as little as, or actually less than $20,000. Now, some of the European countries are a bit more, but the price range really varies widely. If you decide that you can spend time living in a country, or if you have ancestry, if your parents or grandparents immigrated from a European country, frequently you can use that as a methodology to go ahead and apply for citizenship or apply for residency. So, I said I was just going to check in briefly. I'm a little bit tired, honestly, but I just wanted to update everybody on our flight across the ocean. Tomorrow I'm going to take some time and really delve into the Portuguese Golden Visa. I'm going to be talking a lot about that, and there's a half dozen ways that you can qualify. I'm going to go through those in detail, and there's a compendium that we're going to issue that goes along with this episode that really outlines all of the ways that you can qualify for the Portuguese Golden Visa. So on that, I'm going to say goodnight and look forward to catching up with you all tomorrow. Thanks, and have a good night.
Thanks for joining Joel Nagel and the Global Wealth Fortress Report, a whole new approach to asset protection and estate planning, so that now you can live the good life at a great price, where the sun never sets on your financial fortress.